is the Lamborghini Huracan EVO rear-wheel drive Spyder, and on paper, it might just be the ultimate modern supercar. But a set of numbers can't accurately portray the feelings and emotions that are such a critical part of supercar ownership. We don't drive supercars on paper, we drive them on the road. Nevertheless, the Huracan EVO rear, this convertible Lamborghini makes a solid case for itself. So let's take a closer look and see how it stacks up. And if you've got any thoughts or comments on what makes a great supercar, stick them in the comments below. Arguably the most important part of any supercar is the way it looks. These things are subjective, of course, but it's difficult not to be impressed by this sharply sculpted wedge. Differentiating the Huracan rear-wheel drive from its all-wheel drive sibling is a new front splitter, these vertical fins and a larger front intake, and a unique rear diffuser. While we're on the subject of looks though, let me run you through this. On my phone is the list of options fitted to this car and the associated cost. If you're not actually paying the bill, it's quite entertaining. Let's start here at the front. The white paint is a no-cost option. You might think that obvious, but a few years back there was a Ferrari press car and its white paint was $65,000. Anyway, the paint is free, but the high gloss black style package is $3,600. Front and rear parking sensors are another $3,600, while adaptive dampers, which include a lift system so you don't scrape the nose, is $12,970. If we move to the side, the wheels are $8,410 and those bright green calipers are $4,080. Finally, around the back here, the high gloss black diffuser is $6,480 and these matte black tailpipes, they're $1,200. Have to be honest though, if I was speccing my own Huracan, I wouldn't have white. Love a white fridge, white supercar not so much. Happily, if you're prepared to pay for it, Lamborghini will paint it any colour you like, and it's a similar story in here. In terms of colours and stitching, you can have pretty much anything you want, but here's a taste. These seats are $13,690, but if you want this unicolor leather, that's another $4,800, and these Lamborghini shields, they're another $1,800. There's also a long list of equipment that you might find standard on regular cars, but the idea is that the base car is as bare as possible to keep the initial cost down and make each car a blank canvas for each individual owner. Still, it does mean you have to stump up $6,480 for Apple CarPlay, $1,680 for cruise control, and $1,450 for digital radio. Given the view at the back, $3,850 for a rear view camera is probably money well spent. All up, options add $90,550 to the base price of $422,606. Anyway, give us a comment below on what your ideal spec would be. One benefit of choosing this Spyder is that if you don't like the way it looks with the roof up, 17 seconds later it's disappeared. The roof can also be raised or lowered at up to 50 kilometers an hour, so you don't need to worry about being caught in the rain. Another benefit of dropping the roof is this. Fabulous noise is another crucial characteristic of a supercar, and it just happens to be the Huracan's USP. Lamborghini knows this, which is why even with the roof in place, you can drop this little window behind me so more of that wonderful V10 sound enters the cabin. There are still some amazing sounding engines out there like Ferrari's V12 and Porsche's Flat 6, but I'd argue that there's something about the note of this V10 that makes it the best of the lot. The lack of forced induction doesn't only make it sound amazing, but drive brilliantly too. The power builds so smoothly and the throttle response is incredibly immediate. One of the beautiful things about this engine is the array of noises that it makes. Depending on your throttle position and where you are in the rev range, it'll sing a variety of different notes. And then there's the outrageous fireworks on the overrun. To be honest, honest, it's almost too much of a good thing as it can be heard for kilometres. Unlike some of its rivals, you don't have to be driving flat out to enjoy the Huracan. As even accelerating slowly, there's a certain musicality to it. If this is the last we ever see of this V10, at least it's going out on a high. Turbos do increase power and torque significantly though, and again, on paper, the Huracan lags behind its rivals from Ferrari, McLaren and Porsche. The Spyder in particular is at a disadvantage as it weighs 120 kilograms more than the coupe. This is due to the extra body strengthening required to compensate for the lack of a roof. But how fast do you want to go? I don't want to make it sound like I'm making excuses for Lamborghini, but this rear-wheel drive Spyder will hit 100 kilometers an hour in 3.5 seconds and 200 kilometers an hour in 9.6. Yep, 0 to 200 k's an hour in less than 10 seconds. As you might expect on your typical twisting country road, that makes this Huracan, even in its slowest guise, pretty flippin' quick. It's actually a bit alarming at times, and that's especially the case in this Spyder. The engine's louder, the wind's whipping past your head, the scenery's a blur, there's complete sensory overload. Then there's the fact that all 449 kilowatts and 560 newton meters are being sent to the rear wheels only. Those numbers might be slightly less than the all-wheel drive EVO, but they match those of the first generation Huracan LP610. This brings us to another key supercar criteria: intimidation. I'm not going to try and tell you that the Huracan rear-wheel drive is some sort of modern Ferrari F40, a fearsome beast that's ready to pounce the moment you let your guard down. To be honest, if you're just driving slowly, it's a piece of cake. Less raging bull and more friendly cow. The ride's a bit firm and there's plenty of wind noise, but leave the gearbox in auto, this anima switch in strata or road, and it's no harder to drive than an Audi TT. To look after you when you're driving quickly, Lamborghini developed the PTCS, or Performance Traction Control System, which aims to let you have fun, but without crashing your $500,000 supercar. In strata, it's in full safety mode. As soon as you press the throttle, the ESC light is flashing away. In sport, Lamborghini claims that the rear wheels can skate and slide during acceleration for easy drifting fun, while in Corsa, the system just tries to make you go as fast as possible. Does it work? Sort of. If the rear end does get a bit lively, it's quickly shut down. PTCS doesn't have the leniency of, say, Ferrari's side slip control. There's always the option of turning the ESC off completely, of course, but it's not something I'd recommend on the public road, lest you end up as a viral video. But to be honest, there's so much grip and inherent traction that you rarely trouble the electronics in sport or Corsa. The convertible might not be the purest choice, but this car is still so fast and so capable. Nevertheless, the fact that it's rear-wheel drive only is always playing on your mind. That knowledge that you don't have total traction, and I like that. Supercars should be a bit scary. Now, if I put my road testing hat on, there are a few shortcomings. Despite the extra 120 kilograms of reinforcement, you can still feel the body flex over bumps or when there's load in the car. That weight also makes itself known on quick changes of direction. Doesn't quite have the agility of the lighter, stiffer coupe. Also have questions about the steering. Doesn't really give you much feedback or information about what the front wheels are doing. There's heaps of grip, so you can just pitch it in anyway, but it would be nice to have a little more information. But there's also plenty of good stuff. The engine we've covered, the gearbox is lightning fast, the brakes are super strong, and that firm ride makes sense at speed. The suspension's soaking up the bumps and keeping the body under control. So, is the Huracan EVO rear-wheel drive Spyder the ultimate supercar? Well, as I said, on paper it looks the goods, but on the road, not quite. It gets close. It's got the looks, the speed, the noise, and driving it fast is a massive adrenaline rush. There are just a couple of rough edges that prevent it from getting that ultimate tag. That said, if pure aggression is your thing, the Huracan is virtually unmatched.